Proclaim this among the nations. Proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for war. Prepare for war. This is interesting, and also to read it right now because of everything that is happening. For instance, in the United States, with the change of power, which may become a civil war, could become, and obviously in other parts of the world there are rumors of war, which may become finally the third world war, which would fulfill the second seal of the book of Revelation. So I always, like, as you guys know, pay a lot of attention to what we read and how it connects to the time in which we read it, because it always connects one way or another, thankfully, obviously, because of Yahweh's will. So by reading this right now, and I repeat everything that is going on at the moment, we should have our eyes open for also the first seal to be open, obviously, before the war. And the first seal, if it were to be open soon, would be at the beginning of the Hebrew calendar, the Hebrew year, which would be at the end of March is when it starts, but the beginning of April would be when the two witnesses would start, if they start. If Yahweh starts everything, the last 7 years, in that moment, then some months later, the war would happen. And I say all of that just because of what we are reading. So proclaim this among the nations. Prepare for war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords. Beat your plowshares into swords. Just like the Almighty will eventually turn all weapons into tools for the land to grow food, therefore turning that which was to kill into something that will give life. In this case, since the war will be worldwide, then Yahweh says this, the opposite, how everybody in the world will have to prepare for war. Obviously, in our case, we see how in the New Covenant, when Yahushua came, and then in Ephesians, we see that we are told that we are in a war against principalities and authorities, etc., which are pretty much those who are under the power of Satan, Zamael, Lucifer, and Azazel. So we are in a spiritual war. The rest of the world will get into a physical war. We who follow Yahweh and his son Yahushua are protected and covered by the seal of the living Elohim, but we must fight the true war, which is the spiritual war. So pretty much the plowshare would be connected with what we used, well, would be what we do in order to plant the seed into people's hearts for them to believe. But there comes a time when we must turn that into a sword, because there will be a fight, because people will not want to believe. They don't want you to plant the seed. They want to fight you with false statements, false arguments, from taking scriptures out of context and the false doctrines that they have been taught. So beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. It doesn't mean to lie. It means that words have a lot of power, and through us speaking and obviously believing what we are speaking, we can change reality. So those who feel weak, do not confess it. Confess to be strong in Yahweh, of course, because we can do all things through Yahushua who strengthens us. So let the weak say, I am strong.